Hey, welcome to the Take a Deep Breath with Yvonne Daniels podcast. Yay! I'm Yvonne Daniels. I am a wife, a mother, and a national award winning media personality. Yep, I am your afternoon girlfriend on the radio. Hey! So I want to thank you so much for joining me for this podcast that's committed to encouraging you to embrace the power of giving your body permission to relax. That is so important. So, I'm going to introduce my guest, but before I do that, why don't we just kick things off by taking a deep breath in and out. And I'm telling you, it really makes a difference. So that is just like the basis of everything. So today I am so excited to have a special guest that's really doing some great work in the community. I'm overjoyed to be teaming up with a great program that she's a part of for an event that's going to be life-changing for so many. So please help me welcome to the Take a Deep Breath podcast, my guest, Christina Harrington. She is the Health Officer and Director for the Saginaw County Health Department. Welcome.
Thanks, Yvonne. Thanks for having me. Hi, everyone.
I am so glad to have you.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you. I'm excited about all the work that you're doing. We discussed things before, and you just really are doing a lot of great things that are so important to just all of us, just the community. So just this title alone, all right, the Health Director Officer for the Saginaw County Health Department. That alone sounds like you probably take a lot of deep breaths every day.
Yes, I need to.
So tell me a little bit of what does a typical day, I should say, in this role look like for you?
Well, in public health, that term means different things for different people all the time. So when we talk about health department, people think like, oh, I'll go there. My kids might get shots there. Or I talk about public health, I think like, oh, I don't even know what you're, speaking about. My kids are often have a difficult time understanding, what do you do every day, Mom? But it's really about the health of our community. And it's everyone who lives, works, learns, and plays in our county as a county health department. So we're really focused on not only looking at how healthy or unhealthy are we as a community, but what can we do about it? Because we know we have improvements that we can make. So our day-to-day work really is doing that. Like it's boots on the ground, it's behind the scenes work, and everything that we can do to set up our community, engage our community, empower our community through education and awareness. So that we can live healthier lives.
I mean, and health is so important. I mean, it impacts everything, wealth, just the choices we make and all of that. But it can be like a daunting task, especially with some of the things that we're dealing with now. This thing that people don't like to mention, the C word,
Yes.
With COVID and with, and people talking about it's making a comeback and, how it's hit people. And it seems to have hit people that maybe thought they were maybe healthier than they were, they weren't, so this is bringing up so many things. These are things that were already here, but I think this kind of put the spotlight on it.
Absolutely.
And so with that, I know that there are a lot of health initiatives for Saginaw County. Like I said, it can be really, really overwhelming for people. So just talk about some of the things that are really important, some initiatives that you all have that you're really trying to hit hard so that we can have a healthier community.
Yeah, we really focused in sort of three areas. Sometimes I call them the sort of three buckets around health. And they're pretty large, right? When we talk about maternal and child health, like our moms and our babies, and getting so that every baby lives past their first birthday in Saginaw. That's a really important goal for us. We have far too many babies that don't make it to that first birthday. And it's a lot of that, we can work not only from a health system perspective, how do we make sure we're welcoming to our moms, we're taking good care of our moms have access to the care that they need. It's also important, like how healthy can they be between pregnancies? And so we're really working pretty heavily in those areas around maternal and child health, particularly safe sleep. Moms need to know that, hey, I'm a mom too of 3, and you know what it's like. You're tired, you're exhausted, and and making sure that our babies are in separate and safe sleep environments all the time. It's really tough to do. So we really want to build systems around our moms to embrace them. Supporting them, wrapping our arms around every mom because they need it. I mean, we all know, we've been there. We all need it. And focusing on obviously the mom's health and obviously baby's health too. So that's one of them sort of buckets around our health initiatives. Another one is mental health and substance use. Just as you mentioned during COVID, we know that we've really struggled a lot with isolation and all of the things that were happening. All of our lives were turned upside down. And so some people have really struggled since then to have a good sense of mental health. And so one of our focuses is realizing and educating all of our community around those signs and symptoms of things, what you should be looking out for. It's different if, hey, I feel sad today.
Right.
But if I feel sad every day, we need to do something about it. We have to address the stigma around that. Mental health is health.
Yes, it is. And it's okay.
It's okay
to not be okay.
And so many people are so scared or they feel ashamed or it's like, you would go to the doctor if you hurt your arm and you think I need something to get this better. And it's this, just because it's in our brains or it's our emotions or our feelings doesn't mean that we should be ashamed to go talk to somebody about that.
At all.
Mental health is health. So we're really focused on reducing that stigma and providing access and resources, all of that system level work really is what we're addressing in that mental health bucket. And then the third bucket is obesity, but we don't want to just call it obesity.
Right.
It's really about healthy lifestyles and living and about reducing obesity and overweight so that it reduces chronic disease. So as we know, we really struggle as a community, far too much chronic disease. And we know that when we have overburdened weight, extra weight on ourselves over a period of time, things like high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, all of those things pop up over time. And so we really want to focus on lifestyle changes, physical activity opportunities, nutrition education. How do we live healthier lifestyles so that we can prevent those kinds of things?
So you talk about just resources, if people, were trying to get information about these, where are some places, where they would go to find out, okay, my mental health, my baby, I because this education, knowledge is power, and we need to know. So where are some places where people would go?
Yeah, I would say first when we started to talk about, and I gave some statistics and I was up in front of businesses, community groups, faith-based organizations, talking about, hey, do you guys know that we're one of the most obese counties in the state of Michigan? People were shocked. Do you know that the rate in which we're losing babies here is higher than most of the state? And we, compared to the city of Detroit, they're like, wow. So first was creating that level of awareness around sort of the issues that we're having. And so we've done a lot of work with creating, particularly in those three buckets, like I mentioned, data that's available. And so people often ask that. So BWellSaginaw.org is really where I would drive people to go, not only to see what the data looks like, but then also what are the resources in our community. So if someone is looking and like, hey, I'm struggling, maybe I do need to talk to somebody, not really comfortable yet. What can I do? What are my first steps? I would say go to BWell Saginaw. There's a mental health tab. When they go there, you can see there's a large number of resources in our community. And that's the one thing that I think is kind of almost frustrating from my perspective is that Saginaw really is robust with lots and lots of resources. We have a lot going on here.
A lot.
And a lot of great organizations doing a lot of really great work. But it's, you don't know what you don't know. And so there are probably resources out there that you had no idea that are ready to help for folks.
And that are free, because I know people think, these are free resources.
Yes, there is a lot of free resources. So even if someone's not ready, let's say in the mental health side, to say, you know what, I'm not prepared yet to really make that phone call or make an appointment to talk to somebody. There is, we live in the world of technology. So there's apps out there. There are resources people can go and look at for free. We put together through BWell Saginaw as our partner coalition that's really focused on this a couple of years ago. We launched last year, I believe, a mental health Opedia, we called it, for youth.
I love it.
So we talked to a group of kids. These are our kids right here in Saginaw. And we asked, how are you guys feeling? What are the things you need? And you know how kids are. We want to shy away from stuff. We don't, want to make phone calls and talk to people on the phone.
Right.
And so they just wanted to look up like, hey, like I'm feeling this right now. Is it quote unquote normal? And I know we don't always like to label that, but for a kid, it's just understanding like, is it okay that I feel this way, or do I need to do something about it?
Right.
So it's not meant to replace therapy, but it's just a resource. It's completely free, and they can go and they could say like, I'm having like difficulty breathing, or my brain won't shut off, or it's all of these things that literally are descriptors of what kids are experiencing and feeling. And then we took it to Saginaw Valley State University, one of our BWell partners, and said, help us, make sense of this for kids. And so it's, here's what I'm feeling, here's what I can do about it immediately, and then maybe here's what, additional resources or things if I need. And so it's simple, quick. They can go and check it out right there. So that's just one example of the resources that are there.
Because I have a 12-year-old, he'll be 13 in October.
Okay.
So we're at that age where it's like, oh, help me, Lord.
Right.
So this is called a mental healthopedia.
Yes.
Okay. And where is that accessible?
Youth Mental Healthopedia, and it's at the BWell Saginaw.org website. And literally there's a tab for it.
We're going to access that tonight because it really is important, and it's wonderful for youth to be able to go into kind of, because sometimes they may not want, Mom, I don't want you, for them to be able to look at it themselves and say, that's okay. I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that, it's almost like support for them, so.
Yeah. It's like, here's what my brain's feeling. Here's what my body's feeling. So everything from thoughts to like physical manifestations of things. And kids, I mean, I think us adults don't even know most of the time what's going on. And so kids right at that age. And so my daughter's 12, she's just her 12th birthday today. So she's definitely right in that time frame too.
So that's so wonderful to know that, all these resources are accessible once again at BWellSaginaw.org. And so talking about that, you talk about obesity, and that can be kind of a sticky situation too. That can be kind of something where people are, so what, you trying to call me? You're trying to, and it's not, it's like, we're talking health. You know what I'm saying? It's not aesthetics. We're not talking, how you're looking. I mean, that, but how is it connected to, a lot of things that are going on with you, and so with that, you talked about movement, which is so important. You want to move. I'm just like chomping at the bit, really excited about this event that we do have coming up with BWell Saginaw. First, let me say too, though, I was in my son's school, and I see that you all are partnering with the schools. You may have said that earlier. And I think that is so cool to have the BWell program in the schools to teach them young, how to kind of deal with some of these things. Because too, some of the kids may be coming out of homes there, they can't say what they eat. They can't say how they, so to kind of have some control over that too, is wonderful. Movement is so important. We do have the BWell Saginaw Strides Toward Wellness event that's coming up Saturday, September 28th. And it's going to be awesome. And so kind of tell us a little bit about that as we kind of talk about the obesity and how we can kind of get moving and everything. So,
it's really not about how people sort of, we all know we see ourselves differently, right? That self-image of how we see ourselves. It's really about how we're feeling as well. And so we all know through the course, especially adults, can look back and go, I mean, I say this to, my sphere of social, friends and things that are like, man, when I was that age, if I could go back then and tell myself, you were skinny, like,
girl, you look good.
You look good then, but it's about how we're feeling too, right? Yeah. So there's always, what does that scale say? That's not really as important as about how you're physically feeling. And obviously we know movement and what we're putting in our bodies and how we're eating is a huge factor in all of that, right? About how we physically feel. Also, we know that that's tied to how we mentally feel. So there's important. A huge, exercise as medicine programming. We have providers in our area that are very much embracing that and utilizing that as a mechanism around going out and being physically active. Just will. It will improve your own mental health. So this is really whole body. This is a holistic approach for us getting out, moving more, eating better, and really educating ourselves too. So all of those things really encompass what we can do to feel better, and also then prevent that chronic disease, like we mentioned before. So, it's really hard to say we live in the world of public health, of like prevention, because we know prevention is key. I know that if we do these things and we can prevent people from getting diabetes, we're going to have healthier, longer lasting lives, better quality of life, all of those things. But sometimes it's hard to go, okay, I did this, and then that prevented this disease, right? So it's really just taking a step back and having a holistic approach to that physical activity and nutrition education. So for the BWell in schools, we have health resource advocates in all of our public school districts, talking to kids about movement, having them track their minutes of exercise, talking to them about nutrition, and giving education, because we know that if we can influence and, when we're young, we develop a lot of those habits that we carry through.
That's right.
So if we can get kids and hooked on to even just realizing, hey, the burger versus, whatever the other item, like knowing that things have a calorie content. And if I eat this is more sort of unhealthier than this food, or what have you. And learning about things like serving sizes. I mean, we know we live in the super size me, world now. And I think just educating kids on what is a serving size. I laugh at my kids, you pour a bowl of cereal and I think they got to fill it all. It's like, that's like 5 serving sizes right there. Did you know that? They have no clue. It's a bowl of cereal.
I was at an event and the doctor said that your plate should look like your fist and not your head. And I was like, oh, that's good. That's really, really good. So portion sizes are very, very important.
Portion sizes are huge. So that educational component. And then for us, it's also saying, how do we engage our community and provide opportunities to be physically active? And that's where our BWell Race series kind of has breathed out. So we've had a couple of initiatives. This is really tied to, again, BWell is very partner focused. So it's pulling all of our partners together in events like this to create those opportunities. And also then events like our Saturday, September 28th race series. Many people remember the Run for Your Heart that MCVI used to do for many years here in Saginaw, right downtown. And that was a big event, partnered with that Pulse 3 Foundation. So Pulse 3 is one of our partners as well. So we've been planning events. They just had their Hearts and Paddles event last Saturday to do pickleball tournaments.
Pickleball?
Yeah.
Love pickleball. So
isn't pickleball so fun?
It is.
So and also Shocks and Saves, which is the hockey event that happens. And so Pulse 3 is partnered. They've been continuing to do those. And so the BWell Race series is kind of taken on the new Run for Your Heart element. So where's that physical activity? So we're so excited about it. It's our 3rd year. It's been growing every year.
Wow.
And our goal really, as a race series, we tried to stay away from the word race, because a lot of people say, well, I can't do that. I'm not a runner. If I'm not going to run, I can't participate in that. And that is exactly not what we want. This is really an element to bring our community out, to get them an opportunity to have access to physical activity, but in a way that is there for them. So we have everything from the 10K, which is a 6-mile race, to 5K, which is a 3-mile race. We also have something this year, which we used to have, we called it a family fun run. This year, because we're kind of going back to the Hearts or the Run for Your Heart concept, we partnered with the Saginaw Children's Zoo. So our 5K and our 3K, which we're calling Turtles and Hares. So that's just under 2 miles. This is meant for the community to come out and just, you can grab a cup of coffee, grab your friends, bring your kids in the stroller, and just have an opportunity to get together and exercise. And they get to go through the Children's Zoo.
Oh, fun.
So our 3K and our 5K races both go through the Children's Zoo. So either if you want to run or walk the 5K, it's up to you. You want to run by, the animals in the zoo. Awesome. If you want to walk by the animals in the zoo, that's great. The 3K is not timed. It's just literally an event. We still ask people to come out and register for it. So we kind of know from counts and things like that. We're trying to give people, finish race medal when they're done. And then we're going to have food trucks, and we're going to have Baines is going to be there to do with like cider and donuts. it's really going to be just an element to engage community. So if you've like, I'm not sure that I'm a racer,
right?
But I really want to see, what does this race world look like too?
Right.
We'll have everything. We're going to have the racers that'll be there and doing, running the 10K, and then we're going to have the 3K that goes through the zoo. So it's really meant to be an opportunity for everyone to come out, and we'll have also our BWell partners will be there. So if you're talking about resources in the community, and where you can get, whatever resources you're looking for, we're going to have a lot of our BWell partners there as well. And then fun event for the kids. I mean, a bounce house and different events that they can come out. So even if you don't say, okay, I'm not really ready for that, come on out and join us. Saturday the 28th, the first race kicks off at 9 a.m. and just be there just to come and just participate in that community engagement. I think is important too.
Just the fresh air is good. Man, I tell you. And a lot of times people, when things seem so overwhelming, you just, are like, I know I need to do something. I don't know what to do. You won't do anything. So this is an opportunity just to come out, you'll have some resources out there. You get some fresh air. You can bring the kids out. And it's just going to be no pressure whatsoever. So this is wonderful. Thank you all for doing this and just being in the community, because we know that a healthier community, man, that's what's up. It impacts businesses, it impacts, the economy, families. And we have strong families, and we have strong people with strong mental health, as we're working towards that. When you're physically fit, all of that, it's just, as you said, holistic. It's the whole person approach,
It is.
So this is going to be so awesome. I'm going to be there. Plan to have a team at the BWell event. And I just know how important it is. Movement is so important. You talked a lot about food. I know food is also medicine as well, so I'm going to have you back, because there's so many different topics that we can talk about.
Absolutely.
And just to kind of touch on these topics, I know that a lot of times, once again, people know they need to do something. They don't know what to do. Sometimes it seems so overwhelming. It seems like they need to do so much. And it's like, just start small. Just giving just a little something, start here, start there.
I mean, health, as we said, I think our first year of this race was health is a marathon. It's not a sprint. In terms of the idea. We're not, no one should expect themselves to go out and just, I'm going to, run the 10K tomorrow. But we know that it's the little things, right? It's little lifestyle changes that we can make. It could be today or tomorrow, I'm just going to drink more water. Or how about this one? I'm going to get some more sleep.
Yes. That is so huge.
There's so many people that that's a thought process of like, well, it's fine. 5 hours of sleep is enough for me. And that's like, no, it's really not. So then when you're complaining about that, you don't feel this and this hurts and that hurts. Sleep is super, super important.
It is.
And I know that we do live way busy lives nowadays, especially when you've got family and you've got commitments and you have things like that going on. But sleep is one of those that should be prioritized as well. And that's one small thing that you can do. It doesn't cost any money.
Nope.
It's just
carving out an hour extra. Okay, I'm going to get 1 hour extra of sleep tonight. And then you increase it. I'm going to drink one more glass of water. Just drink an 8 ounce, down it, So just those small steps, are so important. So this has been wonderful. Like I said, you will be back, because we do want to talk. Thank you so much. Just to help folks, in this journey. It is a journey, So once again, the BWell Saginaw Strides Toward Wellness event. Come on out. Join us Saturday, September 28th, I should say, Saturday, September 28th, starting and ending at the Saginaw YMCA. Go to BWellSaginaw.org, not only to register, but for all of the resources that are there. I think I'm going to be checking it out quite a bit too. So this has been wonderful. Once again, Christina Harrington, the Health Officer Director for the Saginaw County Health Department. Thank you so much for being here on Take a Deep Breath with Yvonne Daniels. So you know what we need to do. Let's end this episode with a deep breath. Giving your body permission to relax. Thank you for joining me for this episode, and we'll see you for the next one. All right. I'll holla.